How's it going, everyone? Question for you. Have you ever found yourself in a country where words like please, thank you, and other life's simple courtesies feel like an endangered species? 5 seconds to type in the comments. 5, 4, 3, 2. Relax, no pressure. I'm also a slow typer. You can do it later. Okay, so I've got some news for you. This list is the result of countless surveys where travelers and tourists were asked to vote for the countries with the rudest people based on their experiences. So don't get mad at me. I'm just the presenter of the facts here, okay? Interestingly, the countries we're about to reveal have consistently made an appearance in every single survey, earning them a well-deserved spot on our list. So if by any chance your country happens to be on the list, well, I guess you're the exception. So Italy. You think Italians got everything to be happy. Good food is good mood. Their pasta, pizza, and passionate hand gestures. Can I repeat food? No kidding. You have to try the ice cream and the pizza when you go there. But surprisingly, besides filling the entire streets with their team colors and faces, they're also known for being quite rude. Or, as they would say, loud. Whether they're arguing about soccer, dissecting politics, or savoring a meal, they dive in with all their heart, so much so that newcomers might mistake their enthusiasm for rudeness. Location plays a role in the rudeness scale of the Italians. Head south and you might encounter some egotistical and short-tempered folks. While up north, it's a whole different story. They tend to be quite the opposite. America. This list isn't complete without good old USA. I mean, have you been to New York City? It's one of the busiest cities, and it never sleeps. Sometimes it forgets its manners. The people are known for their no-nonsense attitude. Hey, what's the matter for you? They don't give a hoot about where you're from. It's a hustle and bustle kind of place where everyone minds their business. You would think the United States was going to be higher on the list, but unless you go to New Jersey, I think a tourist is going to get a decent interaction. Although American gun culture and occasional outbursts of violence also take things to a whole new level of rudeness, to say the least. As for being awful, angry, racist, or just plain clueless, well, let's not paint everyone with such a broad brush. America is a vast and diverse country, just like anywhere else. There are a few bad apples. China. The Chinese are downright rude, and it's not hard to see why. First, the concept of personal space in China is almost non-existent. Don't be surprised if people stand too close in queues or bump into you on the street. Blame it on their population density. And their slurping habits is the most annoying. It's like standing ovation for the chef and a way of saying, this meal's amazing. So, if someone is loudly slurping noodles beside you in a restaurant, don't let it get under your skin. They're likely showing their culinary appreciation. And have you ever experienced those intense stares from curious locals like you're on display in a museum? It's so rude and uncomfortable for many visitors. United Kingdom. Apart from their strong English accent, the British are royalty when it comes to sarcasm. Ever heard of British humor? Well, the Brits have mastered the art of saying one thing while meaning something entirely different. Sarcasm is practically a second language in the UK, and many tourists find it quite rude.
In America, the people most likely to own guns are poor, uneducated white men, or as I like to call them, the police.
And don't even think about slowing down their vocabulary for non-native English speakers. They'll have you lost in translation faster than you can say colonists. In the UK, tourists might feel like outsiders because, well, you kind of are. If they can do that with Brexit, then who are you to complain? I'm just saying. Germany. When it comes to rudeness, let's just say that Germans have their own unique style and language suited for it. These people are masters of the direct approach. They have something to say, they'll just say it. No sugarcoating, no euphemisms. Let's just say us Westerners are just not used to it. If you ask a German how they're feeling, be prepared for a brutally honest assessment of their physical and emotional state. They won't just say, I'm fine, when they're not. It's more like, I have a headache, my back hurts, and I'm annoyed because it's raining. Talk about laying it all out there. Germany receives around 40 million tourists per year. You would think practice makes perfect. I guess they just don't care, or can't help it. Russia. Just like in Germany, when you visit Russia, the first thing you'll quickly notice is that people don't always smile for no reason. It's not Russians are perpetually grumpy, it's just they don't believe in those forced, toothy grins that you might find elsewhere. Smiles are reserved for genuine moments, not for passing strangers. So don't take it personally if your cheerful hello isn't met with a smile. You're still welcome. Fun fact though, do you know that it's considered impolite to smile at strangers in Russia? In fact, smiling for no reason in Russia is seen as a sign of foolishness. I'm quite the fool then. Now you know why they're considered rude, huh? And let's not forget their ice-cold leader, Vladimir Putin, who has certainly made a name for himself, and the word rude tends to pop up in conversation about him. Do you remember the time he brought his dog to a meeting with the former German Chancellor, Angela Merkel, who's famously afraid of dogs? I mean, come on, who does that if not a person with a gold medal in rudeness? When Putin disagrees with you, you'll know it. It's like he's allergic to political niceties. Some call it bluntness, others call it rudeness, and it depends on which side of the geopolitical fence you're on. But the fact is, some Russians have inherited these traits from him, which makes them absolutely deserving of a spot on this list. North Korea. Okay. Maybe North Korea shouldn't actually be allowed to be on the list due to the lack of tourism, liberty. Let's just include it and multiply the rudeness award times infinity. Fair? If there was a contest for the rudest people Olympics, North Korea might just take home the gold. But we don't like it, so they're just not playing. Let's talk about the infamous dear leader Kim Jong-un. He's the poster child for taking rudeness to the next level like his pal in Russia. There was a time he called the former US president a dotard. Classic and savage as usual. And apart from North Korea being isolated from the rest of the world, you better not say anything remotely critical of the regime when you're there because, well, it's just not allowed. As a matter of fact, even your facial expressions can get you in trouble. The North Koreans have an extensive list of approved hairstyles and fashion choices, which makes things even more complicated. But it's not just the political atmosphere that makes North Korea stand out as a rude country. Everyday interactions like greeting can be quite perplexing for outsiders. For example, public displays of affection like hugging and kissing are considered rude, immodest, and often frowned upon by the elders. Imagine trying to explain a friendly hug to a North Korean. You might just get a confused stare. However, one thing to understand is that the North Korean people themselves have no choice but to conform to these social norms. The regime closely monitors behavior and rebellion, and it's not taken lightly. And finally, the top spot for the country with the rudest people goes to France. We all know France to be a beautiful land of croissants, fine wine, and well, some not so fine reputations for how rude they are. I mean, according to comments from various surveys, waiters, shop workers, and even people on the streets are all rude and unhelpful. In fact, one tourist said they felt like they were being treated like an unwanted guest the entire time they were there. I am so sorry for wanting to buy a coffee and a croissant. In your shop. Let's start with Paris, which is a bustling metropolis filled with people from all over the world. Imagine living in a city where tourists constantly outnumber locals. It's enough to make anyone a little short-tempered, don't you think? That's all for today. Now, don't be rude and give this video a like, will ya? Which other rude countries do you think deserve a spot on this list? Let us know in the comments below. Be nice, be cool, and we'll see you in the next video.